What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ravi Wadan, and in today's video, I want to talk about the $0 down lease deal that Tesla currently has on the Tesla Cybertruck all-wheel drive. Now, Tesla is also offering 2.49% APR if you finance this truck. But believe me, if you're in the market for a Tesla Cybertruck, not only are you going to get a lot of value from this video, but you should definitely lease this video. And I'll explain why over the course of this video. So what we'll do in the first part of this video is we'll head over to the Tesla website and we'll structure this lease deal. We'll talk about the due outstanding amount. We'll talk about what you can actually expect to pay when you go to sign your lease in terms of taxes and fees. We'll talk about the lease buyout amount, and we'll talk about the mileage allowances and all of that fun nitty-gritty stuff. Then in the second part of this video, what we'll do is run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Tesla Cybertruck all-wheel drive, and I'll show you why it's a good lease deal in terms of value and why you should lease this truck. Essentially, two $50,000 cars can have very different lease payments and a very different due outstanding amount, and this Tesla Cybertruck passes that test, and I'll show you why and show you how. And the third part of this video, what we'll do is we'll compare the monthly lease payments to the monthly finance payments, and I'll show you how and why you'll save thousands of dollars by leasing this truck instead of financing it. And I'll also talk about some of the other advantages that you'll get by leasing this truck. So if that sounds good to you, please be sure to like this video and please be sure to follow. And if you haven't already, please be sure to check out DriveMatch.com. It's a company that I co-founded where you can get pre-negotiated lease deals just like this Tesla on just about any car in the country, and you can get it delivered to your driveway. So check out DriveMatch.com. But enough of the talking, let's go ahead and jump into the computer and structure this Tesla Cybertruck lease deal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here I am on the Tesla website. I'm gonna hover over vehicles and click on Cybertruck and select order or click on order. And that's going to take me to this page right here. And as you can see here, you can lease or you can finance, the Tesla Cybertruck for 2.49% APR, and that ends on December 4th. Now, you do not want to finance this particular truck. You want to lease it. So let's go ahead, and here on the right-hand side, we're going to click on lease. And as you can see here, you're going to see that you can update this to $0 down. So that's what we're going to click. We're going to click update to $0 down. And now you can see that you can lease this Tesla Cybertruck for $0 down. It's a 36-month lease that allows for 10,000 miles a year, and your monthly payment's going to be $880 a month. Now, I didn't add any packages or any other options to this Tesla Cybertruck. I kept the standard wheels. I didn't add the terrestrial armor package. I didn't do the interior color, right? I didn't do full self-driving. We're just kind of keeping this bone stock, bare bones, no options. Now, one thing I really like about the Tesla website is if you click on edit leasing, they give you a very transparent view of this lease, and it really modifies the lease terms and payments in real time. Okay. Now, what you're going to see here is you're going to see this little checkbox that says include estimated taxes and fees. Now, this is very important to check if you want the full picture, right? Now, you can see that the due at delivery amount is $2,702, right? Why is it not $0 down? Well, let's go ahead and click on view breakdown. You'll see that you have the first month's payment of $982, and then you have the acquisition fee of $695, and then you have some registration amount, total upfront tax, and all of that equates to $2,701. Now, as you can see here, the actual down payment is $0 down. So when they say it's a $0 down lease, this is what they mean. It's not $0 due at signing or $0 total due out of pocket. It's a $0 down lease, a standard $0 down lease. So let's go ahead and go back. Now, as you can see here, the monthly payment is going to be $982 a month. It's a 36-month term, and the mileage allotment, this lease allows for 10,000 miles a year. Now, if you wanted to do 12,000 miles a year, the payment's going to go from $982 to $1,005. And ladies and gentlemen, if you know you drive 12 or 15,000 miles a year, be sure you get the 12 or 15,000 mile a year lease up front. Otherwise, if we scroll down, you're going to have to pay the excess mileage penalty. You're going to have to pay an excess mileage penalty of 25 cents per mile. So it's much cheaper to just get the mileage up front rather than pay the excess mileage penalty. Let me revert this back to 10,000 miles. Now, you'll also see that you can get an additional rebate if you're military, first responder, healthcare, teacher, or student through their purchase program. And then if we scroll down, you'll also see that Teslas have a buyout option. So you can purchase this truck at the end of the lease for $55,750 plus applicable taxes and fees. And then you'll see that the monthly lease payment already includes the $6,500 Tesla lease credit. So a lot of you are wondering, or probably wondering, whether this lease includes the $75 or whether this payment includes the $6,500 in terms of the rebate. And yes, it does. Now in this part of the video, what I want to do is run my 1.25% rule of leasing using the calculator, okay? Now this is just a simple equation, and anytime at the end of the equation, if you get a number over 1.5%, that typically is a vehicle that you should finance and not lease. The lease savings are negated, typically negated over 1.5%, unless a vehicle really has poor resale value. So there are some exceptions, but in general, over 1.5% is a vehicle that you should finance. If you're under 1.5%, that's a vehicle that you should lease. Definitely lease. Under 1.25% is what I consider a great lease deal, and that's a vehicle that you should, even makes more sense to lease. And under 1% is what I consider, so under 1.25% is a great lease deal, and under 1% is what I consider an amazing lease deal. Extremely rare. We saw some sub 1% lease deals with the EV tax credit. You can still maybe score some here and there, maybe on drivematch.com, but extremely rare. Anyways, let's go ahead and run the equation on this Tesla Cybertruck. So we'll take the due at signing amount of $2,702, and then we'll subtract the monthly payment of $982, since that's the first month's payments already included in the due at signing amount, and that's going to give us $1,720. Now what we're going to do is divide this by 36 to break this into 36 equal parts. That's going to give us $47, and then we'll add the monthly payment of $982 back in. Excuse me, $982. And that's going to give us an effective monthly payment of $1,029 a month. So if you multiply this number by 36, that's going to be the total cost of the lease over the lease duration. And now what we're going to do is divide this number by this vehicle's MSRP. I think it's $79,990. Yes, it is. We'll divide this by the vehicle's MSRP. So $79,990. And when I do that, I get 1.29%. So anytime, again, you're under 1.5%, that's a good lease deal. Under 1.25% is a great lease deal. And under 1% is an amazing lease deal. And this one's sitting at 1.29%. So it's on the cusp of a great lease deal. And in terms of the 1.25% rule of leasing, you should definitely lease this vehicle. Now, let's go ahead and compare the monthly finance payment to the monthly lease payment, and you'll see why this makes even more sense, okay? So let's go ahead and click on finance. So even if you get the estimated promotional APR 3.49%, so the 2.49, and what is it, only on 48 months? Update terms, Update terms to get the 2.49% APR. Let's see if we can get it on 72 months. No, let's keep it at 60 months. And then your due at delivery amount is going to be $12,306 if you were to finance this particular vehicle. And so let's go ahead and go back to lease, and we'll enter the same amount just so we have an apples to apples comparison. So on the lease, if you put $12,306 down, you're going to have a monthly payment of $682 a month. And if you were to finance this vehicle, you're looking at a monthly payment of $1,402. So $1,402 minus $682. What is that? 1402 minus 682. So you're essentially paying $720 more a month to finance this vehicle over leasing this video. And if we multiply this number by 36, you're going to pay $25,920 more to finance this particular vehicle over leasing this vehicle. Yes, it's a 60-month term, but even if you did a 72-month term at 3.99%, you're still paying $1,237 a month. So leasing, even with the promotional APRs, just makes a lot more financial sense. So with leasing, not only are you putting less money down, you're also going to have a lower monthly payment. So your total out-of-pocket cost is going to be far less, as I just showed you. But the second advantage of leasing is that you're going to get depreciation protection, right? So what happens is, let's say I buy this, Tesla Cybertruck today at the 2.49% for 60 months. Let's say in 3 years or 2.5 years or 3 years, I go to trade in this vehicle. And let's say I only put like $10,000 down or $15,000 down. What's going to happen is there's a good chance of me having negative equity. And that negative equity could be $5,000, $6,000, could be $10,000 or more. The negative equity just means that the vehicle's value is lower than your outstanding loan balance, right? And with leasing, that depreciation risk just goes off the table, right? You just make the payments, and if you want to turn the truck in at the end of 3 years, you can do that. That negative equity is not your problem. The other reason you want to lease this vehicle is that it includes gap insurance, right? And when you finance this car, you're gonna have to pay gap insurance out of pocket. What is gap insurance? Gap insurance essentially is when you finance a car with little to no money down, like this Tesla Cybertruck, for instance, and let's say you get into an accident 6 months or a year down the road, and let's say the insurance company is only giving you, let's say, $40,000 for a truck and your outstanding loan is still $56,000. Gap insurance is going to cover that difference, and you have to pay for gap insurance. When you finance with the Tesla leases, gap insurance is included. And the third reason you want to lease this truck is you get diminished value protection. So let's say you finance this truck again, let's say 6 months down the road, you get into a fender bender. Now, even though that this vehicle is just a fender bender, it wasn't declared totaled, you got it properly maintained or repaired, excuse me, through the insurance company. But now you have an accident on your record, and that diminished value is your responsibility. If you're leasing this truck, you can just return it back. Because a lot of people, don't want to deal with that diminished value. And sometimes even after a fender bender, the vehicle never drives the same. So with leasing, you can just turn it back. You're not breaking any rules. And ladies and gentlemen, for all of these reasons, if you're in the market for a Tesla Cybertruck, I strongly suggest that you lease it. Let me know if you have any car leasing questions in the comment section below. And please be sure to use my car insurance shopping tool. It's in the description below or in the link in my bio. A lot of people are overpaying for car insurance, and the car insurance shopping tool only takes a couple of minutes and you can compare rates instantly. Financial knowledge is power. Please like and follow for more.